Okay, we are live. This is American Hammers TV. We're back for another episode. We didn't do one last night because it was Mother's Day, so we decided, hey, why not? Let's do one on Monday night. Just got to mention real quick, our sponsor. I drink this stuff every single episode. It is absolutely the best stuff. I cannot stop drinking it. Anyway, it's called Strava Craft Coffee. They're out of Denver, Colorado. It's premium craft coffee. They make regular coffee, but they also make this stuff with the CBD oil in it. Really good stuff. So link in the description below. There's a coupon code. If you type in Hammers15 in the the code section of the checkout, you can save yourself 15% off until June 30th. That said, we have a special guest tonight. He's super popular on the Twitterverse, and super popular amongst all the different American supporters groups. Everybody seems to know this guy. So hey, we said, you know what? Let's invite him on the show. What's up, Scott Davis? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, baby, how you doing? How was the weekend? How did everybody enjoy Mother's Day?
It was all right, Scott.
Good.
You know what we did? We went swimming in 45-degree weather.
You are a madman.
Well, when you have a pool in New England and it's May, you just get in that pool no matter what.
Dude, I'm from Northern Canada. Anything below 90 degrees, I'm not getting in it. For Mother's Day, I had a great day. My wife got up with me at 6 a.m, went downtown, had breakfast with me, and she dropped me off at the pub so I could watch the final match on Mother's Day. I have the best wife in the world.
That's a wonderful wife right there.
That is awesome.
Great wife, Scott.
And then I slept the rest of the day.
Well, how we usually start the show is we ask our guests, how did you first get into West Ham? Where are you from? The whole 9 yards. Just give us a background about you.
Sure. So I'm from Northern Canada, and growing up, you got 2 matches a year on audio delay. Manchester United versus Liverpool and Liverpool versus Manchester United. That was it. And I loved football. As a kid, I actually had a bunch of kids from the Netherlands and from Germany grew up in my area, and a whole shed load of people from Southampton, England, of all things. So as little kids, we played a lot of soccer. Then, kind of played a bit, followed a bit, followed the Vancouver Whitecaps in the old NASL and the old professional soccer league. I don't know, whatever the Cosmos played in. Grew up a little bit, got a little bit older, got married, had some babies, started getting back into it about 15 years ago. Really loved watching international football. Got in a lot of trouble with my wife. When we got our first apartment, the first thing we did was we got cable so I could watch the World Cup that year. Couldn't afford it, but we watched the World Cup. I had cheered a little bit for Man U as a kid because that's all you knew, right? And as I grew up, I kind of got tired of them. They're not a terrible group of people. I got quite a few Man U fan friends, great people, but the club itself didn't appeal to me anymore. Incredibly corporate, not that interesting in some ways. I mean, they were winning, but there was no personality to the club. It was like, oh yeah, we won again. Oh yeah, we won again. Oh yeah, we won again. Oh, we won this trophy. We won that trophy. It's like, well, it's great. But the players themselves were not interesting. The club was very plastic, for lack of a better term. Met a really good lad about 10 years ago named Pete Keys. Ended up working for him. He grew up in Hornchurch. Lad talked about West Ham all the time. His kid would come and talk to me all day long about who we were signing, who was coming to play, how are they doing. About this time, we had just come out of the Sky Bet Champions League. And it was our first year in the EPL. And he said, hey, you want to go to London? And not only did he say, do you want to go to London? I have a ticket for West Ham at home at the Boleyn Ground to watch my first match ever. And I went and I was hooked. We went down, picked up the tickets. The guy at the ticket office, who's a friend of a friend, took us down on the pitch, walked us around. We got to sit in the manager's chairs. It was amazing. And then before and after the match, hanging out in the pub with the people. I've said for a long time, we all suffer terribly as West Ham fans, but we suffer as a family. These people adopted me. I could go right now into several pubs in East London where I know they're West Ham fans, and these people would kind of know me because they knew Pete, or they've gotten to know me. It was like I was adopted. One night I went into the Vic Tavern, which was interesting. Great group of people, little scary. I was there without Pete, and they didn't quite know who I was, but one guy said, you kind of know Pete. Yeah, you're all right. Didn't let me buy a drink for the whole night. The characters were scary, the men even a little bit less so. But great people, bought me drinks, hung out. Anytime I'm in London, lots of people can do it, and that's kind of what got me addicted. It wasn't the football, because gosh knows, we don't play great football some years. but the people itself was what really addicted me. I love the people. They're just real people. They
Yeah.
really give a damn about this club.
Well,
That's what got me.
you have to. And we always say on this show that West Ham fans are people of character because you have to be a person of character to support West Ham. You can't be a bandwagon fan. You can't be a glory hunter. If you are, you're an extremely poor glory hunter. You're really bad at it. You have to be a person of character. Anybody can go out and be a Liverpool fan, quite frankly. Anybody can go out. You know, it's funny. We've got this. These guys have come to Chelmsford, where I live, to run the soccer practices for my kids' team, for all the kids' teams in Chelmsford. And they're English guys, and they all support Liverpool, but they're not one of them is from Liverpool. You know,
Yep.
They're from like Southampton, or they're from London, or something like that. And they're good guys. Don't get me wrong, and they're really great with the kids, but they're all Liverpool, and not a single one has the Paul McCartney accent. You know. Now it's obvious that I'm not from East London. Okay, I'll give you that, but I'm just saying.
I thought you were. I really thought Hornchurch, maybe Cannington.
I'm not even from East Texas, but I mean, you know, given that I didn't grow up in England, I think you know, I have a little more of a right to let West Ham choose me. But no, as you were saying, people of character, great people. That's what we've noticed doing this show. We've met the best people, almost all of them so far, you know, virtually, but still, we've met the very best people here and in the UK, and I can't wait to get over there as soon as we can get over there and hang out with everybody we've met and just get to know them in person.
You know, and that's what, like, when we talk about, you know, eventually maybe someday a whole shed load of us could go over as a group. You know, I think about guys like Andy Reid, who runs the official supporter club bar, and there's a whole shed load of guys over there, Baz Cox, etc. Even guys like X and Dave, who you had on last week. You know, if we reach out to them, these guys are going to bust their backsides so that we can get over there and do stuff. I've seen them do it for the Finnish Hammers, the Scandinavian Hammers, the Belgian Hammers, who I bet nobody even knows. Those guys suffer through border control, driving from Belgium to London on a game day just to go watch that match. They're looked after. Last time I was there was actually for the Huddersfield match. Of all people, the Mexican Hammers showed up.
Yeah,
Wow.
we had last time I was there, the Scandinavian Hammers were there, and they were taking care of. Now we've had Gio from Hammershed on. He said that they would definitely take care of us. We've had Baz on. He said they'd take care of us, obviously, and like you said, Dave. I mean, they said, you know, all of them is so genuine. They're like, listen,
Mike
you come over
Manera
here.
Hey, remember Mike said,
Mike Manera said, we'll take care of you on the boats.
yeah, we're taking
You know,
Boats are great. I'm gonna hit pause. Baz Cox, what a guy!
Yeah.
Did you guys see that?
Unreal.
See how that charity match went?
good man. Yeah.
I did, yeah.
They raised something like it's not my job to say how much they raised. Baz sent me an initial quote, and I just about fell out of my chair.
Yeah.
Great example. They were auctioning. Somebody had won the ladies' shirt that was signed by all the ladies and gave it back to Baz and said, auction it again.
Mhm.
They also had a men's shirt. I'm not sure if the whole team signed it or not. They auctioned that off at the Isla charity match. The winning bid was £750. But the guy who bid £700 said, you know what? Take my money. It's for Isla. So those two shirts raised £1,450 for that little girl. That is Baz working his backside off. And it's not just him. He's got a shed load of people he works with. And the Isla's whole family does it. But if you're in the background, you just know Baz is beating the drum. What a guy. I can't speak highly enough of Baz.
Yeah.
No, I felt the same way.
He's fantastic. He really is. And
He's basically like saving the life of a little girl and protecting her family. And I don't think there's any higher calling than that. I think it's fantastic. And very, very proud that we had him on. Proud that
he had Snodgrass and Noble go over to Spain to go see her too, right? It was amazing. So impressive.
Snodgrass was pretty heavily involved with her. He seems like a very genuinely good guy, by the way, Snodgrass. And I'm sure Mark Noble has to be.
Snods is great. We were Nick Stamper, who goes by Nicky Sports Goods or whatever his handle is, and he'll tweet me here in a minute telling me I got it wrong. Baz grabbed Nick after the Huddersfield match and waited around like for 3/4 of an hour for the players to come out just so he could meet one of the players. And Snodgrass was one guy he met. Snodgrass had all day for him. As a matter of fact, I'm a big fan of Snodgrass. I know that this may not be very popular, but I have a number 11 signed Snodgrass shirt. That'll be going out for auction for Isla later this year. Snod made the time for it. So did Rice. Great guys.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. It's not just the people. some of those guys at that club seem to understand what the family of West Ham is about, and that just, I mean, that gets my heart. I don't know if you saw after when Rice was coming off yesterday, not just patting the badge like yeah they're there. I mean, there was some emotion, there was some love there for that badge. I love that kid.
I think he gets it. I do. And I'm not saying he won't end up somewhere else eventually, because that's what usually happens to our world class players. And I do think he's world class, but I think he gets it, and I'm hoping that it'll keep him around a little longer than it might otherwise. I mean, he obviously is an academy grad, but I think he understands. I think he has a Mark Noble mentality toward the club, and he really understands the sense of West Ham family that we have. Plus, he comes off as a little bit of a goofball, which I like about it.
He's completely a dork. I don't know if his dance. He recorded himself practicing a dance.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you have great dork man moves, man. You're a complete dork, but he's a dork who's making a lot of money playing world-class football at the age of 20 for the club I love. I love Declan Rice.
Absolutely.
That's who I voted for Hammer of the Year. That's my personal Hammer of the Year. But so the thing with him is that he's only 20, like you said. He's part of the national team, which unfortunately Noble has not had the experience with the men's national team anyway. I mean, he was another 21 or whatever. But the point is, he's around. It's another Payet situation where the Payet had all those Frenchmen around saying, "Hey, what? I play for Man U, I play for PSG, I play for so and so, I play for Barcelona, I play for whatever. What club do you play for? Oh, West Ham." And next thing you know, he's getting homesick, and he's like, "Oh shit, I don't want to play for West Ham anymore." But there's also a million other reasons about that. But my point is, with Declan Rice, though, he's still very young.
Yeah.
And he's going to have all these guys watching them make all this money playing on these bigger clubs on the big team. And then would that not be enticing? I mean, yeah, sure. You can have a heart of gold, but I mean, if you're around this all the time.
Of course it would. absolutely.
Yeah, money talks, my man.
I agree. I think
I obviously not this year. I don't think that he's leaving summer. But I mean, yeah.
So I wrote. I'm in the middle of writing a column for Green Street, and that's kind of where I went with it. I don't think that Rice leaves this year or next year. And I think in the end, it may not entirely be his choice. It might be a fiscal choice for the club. If they don't break into a higher level, if they don't end up getting a chance to play in Europe, even if it's Europa League, okay? Finishing seventh and playing Europe would be great for him. And then build from there. But eventually, dude, I think you're right. I think eventually, that phone's going to ring and he's going to be going, oh, I love West Ham, but I can go play for Real Madrid. I can go play for Juventus. I can go play for, can we say Barcelona? Just as long as, I don't think he'll ever play for anybody else in the Premiership. I think West Ham would say no, as much as they could.
If we have to sell him, and I think you're right, for financial reasons, we may have to sell him eventually. I hope we at least sell him outside the Premier League. And maybe we could get what Spurs got for Gareth Bale. Maybe we could do the same type. Sell him to Real, sell him to Barca, sell him to Juventus, as you said, sell him to Bayern. I don't know. What do you have to? What do you probably want to do?
Not Baron. He can't go to Germany. No Germans.
Well, anyway, okay.
2 World Wars, 1 World Cup, dude. Sorry.
By the time this actually happens, though, I think that are the owners still going to be there? You know what I mean? Are they going to be on their way out? Are they going to need to cash in? Are they going to need to, sell him to Man City? You know what I mean? Who's going to be able to afford him? And I mean, I could see him going to Man City. I don't see him going to Man United. But
there's a lot of there's a lot to unpack with what you just said. With respect to the owners, I don't know if you noticed, but Sullivan, he grew his fortune another $50 million a year. He is a billionaire. Okay, he's got some cash.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly,
his son has done okay. Whether you like the board or not, I don't care. Let's look at what they've done. We aren't under any consideration for financial fair play rules. Okay. I don't know if you saw it, but City is under investigation right now by UEFA to whether or not they're going to be excluded from the Champions League next year because of fiscal irregularities.
Did you read the big expose about City and to a lesser extent PSG that was one of the newspapers did it? I read an English translation. I can't remember which one it was. Der Spiegel or one of them.
Yeah,
long 4-part series about how Manchester City broke all the financial fair play rules.
And
fascinating. If I could find it, I'll tweet it. I'll look.
But here's the reality. They can afford to do that. They've got a multi-billionaire series of owners who cash is nothing to. Okay, Sullivan's got $1 billion. Cash is not hard, but it isn't limitless. Okay, this is a business guy.
Yep.
He's going to make sure that whatever he does with this club, make sure that he's building the value of the club for himself, because someday either he'll sell, or what I think is more likely is he'll step back and hand it off to his son, Jack. And it's one of those cases where I kind of know a friend of a friend, and I'm not pretending that I'm some in the know or something.
Yeah.
But it sounds like Jack Sullivan really wants this club, and he really wants to take it somewhere. So he might be the kind of guy who goes, look, I will roll out $100 million and do stuff. Now, whether he gets that chance or not, dude, you don't know. I don't know. None of us know. Do I want $1 billion? Do I want a multi-billion-dollar, oil sheik owning our club and throwing endless money at us? Might be nice.
We've talked about this a lot. We talked about this with Baz. We talked about this with Gary, the legendary Gary. I know you've watched him.
Oh God, what is that man on? that man is high on life, and whatever life is, he's enjoying it.
He is high on West Ham. I can tell you that. And like 3 other people I've met, even doing this, like 3 other people I've met, he really loves West Ham. But anyway, we've talked to a lot of the old school English guys about this, and I think all of them have mixed emotions about a big, a Russian oligarch or an oil sheik buying us. I mean, on one hand, yeah, it'd be nice to have the money. It'd be nice to have almost guaranteed trophies. But on the other hand, it would probably change the DNA of the club in a lot of ways.
I agree.
And then you wouldn't have that situation where we'd have this fellowship of West Ham fans, because they used to call Boston sports fans the fellowship of the miserable before the early 2000s, when all the fortunes changed. Right back in the 90s, when I moved here, it was the fellowship of the miserable. You wouldn't have the fellowship of the miserable. You wouldn't have the family atmosphere. You'd have all these hangers on and bandwagoners coming in, and I would be resentful of that, to be honest. Yeah. I would. I mean, because we've suffered, right? Not as much as somebody like Gary or somebody like Baz, who's there all the time, but we've suffered it. I would be resentful of somebody coming in and saying, "Hey, guess what? Now I support West Ham because hey, they're in Champions League and I like their colors."
Yeah, or any one of the 10 teams that wear claret and blue. Yeah, I hear you. I think eventually somebody will have to come along with big pockets. It's a big stadium.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, we have become not a big club in terms of the big 6, but a big club in terms of we've got a big stadium. We're getting much more of a worldwide basis. I mean, that's part of going to China this summer,
of course,
for the warm up.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to market the club. Are they going to do the greatest job ever? I don't know, but we are. It is a corporate. It is a very corporate club now. I mean, I look at some of the stuff that's going on, and it feels pretty corporate. If you've seen some of the hospitality suites up there, you know what? It's becoming much more corporate. And the days of handing your kid over the turnstiles and so he can sneak in and sit on your lap, those are gone.
It's every big club is like that now.
Yeah, and I think every premier club is going to end up like that. If you want to be.
And this is what I've said in the past about what Gold and Sullivan and Brady sold us when they moved us to the Olympic Stadium. To me, the argument shouldn't have been, this is for European football, this is so we can advance into Europa League and eventually Champions League. I think what they needed to say was the truth, which was, if we don't do this, we won't survive as a Premier League club.
Absolutely.
We have to have this stadium. We have to have this kind of capacity. We have to have this kind of revenue-generating power.
Absolutely.
Or we will be an elevator club at best. We'll be a Brighton. We'll be a Southampton or a Cardiff. We'll float around the bottom of the table. I mean, I think they set expectations way too high, and they were a little bit unrealistic, especially with the time frame.
Yeah.
But if they had said, "Look, you don't understand. Tottenham are building a new stadium. Manchester City, Arsenal have relatively new, gigantic, grounds. All these Premier League clubs have massive marketing deals. They have massive TV presence. We have to do this. We have to keep up the profile if we want to be a consistent Premier League club."
I agree.
That to me was the argument. Unfortunately, that's not what they said.
Otherwise, we end up like QPR.
Yes.
QPR is. Did they? No, they didn't get relegated from Sky Bet. They're still in the Sky Bet Championship this year.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
We're not going to see them again for a while.
No.
Swansea went down. Now Swansea is a different club. They've gone down. We're not going to see them again for a while. But you're going to see. But you watch. somebody like Leeds is going to come up. And the owners of Leeds are ruthless. They want to win.
Mhm.
They're willing to put their money behind their club. And that is a big club. If they come up, somebody is going to, like somebody who's been hanging around for 4 or 5 years, who's kind of been in that 13 to 17 space and like been making it on, and that's great. They're going to go, and Leeds is going to come up in a hurry. Leeds is a club that could come up from the Sky Bet Championship and will scare the crap out of me. That is a big club waiting to happen.
That's I
Yeah,
agree. Remember
I
they
agree.
were in the Champions League semifinal in 2000 or 2001. I mean, Leeds have a pedigree, and it's not just from the 70s. It's from the last like 20 years.
Absolutely.
They have a massive number of fans. And I look at, I always think of Southampton because nobody has anything against Southampton. But Southampton, that's a club to me that always kind of floats toward the mid-table to bottom of the table a little bit. They struggled. They have a relegation struggle the last couple of seasons, and they stayed up. But that's the kind of club to me that could end up being like a Sunderland or a Portsmouth. I know Portsmouth had financial problems, but you look at, think about Villa. I mean, they're in the playoffs at the moment, but they've struggled to get back into the Premier League.
They won their first leg, right? They won 2-1, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they have a chance to come back, but they've been down for a few seasons. I think about Coventry were in the top flight of English football for something like 35 years.
Fucking Bolton and Blackburn, dude. Like Bolton is almost in administration, man. They're gonna have negative 20 points next season.
They went into administration this morning.
They did? Holy shit.
They did.
See?
So they start at minus 12 points next year. So and that was a big freaking club. I've got some great friends who are Bolton Wanderers fans for 20, 30 years, and their hearts have been ripped out. So I may not listen. I heard Dave talk last week about how he's been a board supporter and he's been fairly positive to the board. I very publicly have not been. I'm not a fan of the board. But the thing the board has done is, you know what? This club's going to be here in 20 years.
Yeah.
They've got their fiscal house in order. We don't owe $1 billion some bank. I think if I recall correctly, we owe the owners. They're loaning us the money right now. I don't know what the interest rate is, but I think they're doing okay.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll say is people. There are a lot of things I don't like about the board. I don't like a lot of what Karen Brady does. I don't like her column she wrote in the Sun.
Karen Brady's Carpet Army. Come on, can you say it with me? Karen Brady's Carpet Army. And Brawley Darbin, I know you're listening. I do not want to hear your thoughts on Karen Brady's carpet.
I want to know if Mikel Antonio how he feels about it, because he likes to stroke a nice carpet, but no, I mean, the thing about it, I don't like a lot of the comments she's made in her column. I don't like. I have a lot of problems with Sullivan, quite frankly, that go way beyond him owning West Ham. But they did step in when our club was about to go into free fall. And it was. And I know there were other owners out there. There were other people out there who were in the mix, but they stepped in. And I hate to use this word, but they did kind of save us when we could have very, very easily gone the way of Portsmouth. We could be in a League Two. League One, League Two playoff right now, just trying to get back up into the championship or into League One, and we could easily have gone that direction. We could end up a Coventry, we could end up a Charlton. I mean, these clubs were all in the Premier League. Coventry were in the top flight of English football for many seasons in a row, and they've just sunk. So.
And you mentioned Southampton a minute ago. So it wasn't long ago. Was it Southampton was in the 4th tier? And they've hung around kind of in that mid to bottom table for a long time. They haven't done a great job of investing. They sold a lot of players.
They sold other players. Yeah.
And they haven't gotten significantly better. How long until finally their clock runs out and they're back down and they're back in the 4th division? I don't want to do that because I'm never going to be able to watch West Ham on TV again.
I don't want to get into a situation where we are Portsmouth, we are Charlton. We are one of those. We are, as you said, QPR. I don't hate the championship. When we were in the championship, I watched this. I kind of enjoyed it. There was things I maybe liked a little better about it than the Premier League, but there's no question we want to be in the top flight. And the thing is, when you go down, we got Sam Allardyce came in. He did his job.
He did.
The players stay with us. We came right back up. A lot of clubs don't do that. I mean, How many clubs have we seen fall out of the Premier League and just float around?
Let's see. Who went down last year? Who went down last?
Well, I think West Brom, Norwich.
Stoke.
And Stoke.
Stoke is not coming back anytime soon.
Stoke's not coming back anytime soon. Well, the one I look at is Fulham going down this season.
And they spent $100 million.
Fulham, that's a club I can see not coming back for a while. Even though I like Scotty Parker a lot. In fact, I'm wearing a shirt right now.
Oh, awesome. Good job, lad.
I like Scotty Parker, I do. But I wish him well, and I do hope they come back up. But I can see that being a club that struggles.
Well, and they're going to get raided. I really think. I think Mitrovic. Frankly, I think we end up with Mitrovic.
Oh, I hope not.
I have an outside suspicion that we take over Schürrle's 2-year loan. He's a great fit for us for 1 year. He's an older guy. He's hungry. He wants some more football.
Yeah.
I could see both of them ending up at our club. Obviously, Mitrovic a little bit more expensive, but Schürrle cheap. You don't want him?
No.
No way.
What's your hang up? Seriously, I'm not being a dick. What's your hang up?
No. Yeah.
Go ahead, Tim.
A couple things. He doesn't score enough goals, first and foremost, and especially in the Premier League. And why are we going after people on relegated teams, man? We should be aiming higher. But my main thing is his fucking attitude problem in the clubhouse. It's the dressing room, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
We don't need another Arnautovic. You know what I mean? Like we don't. I don't want anybody with that type of mentality. And he doesn't. His goal ratio doesn't justify his attitude. If you're gonna be Zlatan Ibrahimovic, then score 40 goals this season.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Not 9 or 10
Dude,
or at most. You know what I mean?
Totally
So
fair.
that's my hang up. Sorry, I get a little pet with that.
Dude, no, it's good. I actually think in some ways he might be a good fit for our club. He is when he plays for his national team, he is a classic number 9, hard nose, like in the middle, getting dirty, getting beat up, center forward, striker. I think he's got physical skills. He can take the beating. I agree with you on the goals, okay? The goals, he did not score enough, but he played with crap this year. I can't speak to the attitude problem. I will say this. I saw Michael Antonio go from somebody who everybody wanted to sell to a freaking beast on the pitch yesterday. And there's been a lot of rumors, a lot of things said in a lot of places about Antonio and his attitude and how he is. And it seems like Pellegrini just kind of grabbed and said, bloody stop.
Yeah.
Is Pellegrini the kind of guy who can work with somebody like Mitrovic? Maybe. But Tim, on the other hand, I think you might be right. You know, if that attitude is as bad or as problematic as Arnautovic,
yeah.
Geez, look what happened after Christmas. Dude, I felt like we were on fire in December because we lost one match.
Yeah.
And then we went in the toilet. Frankly,
yeah.
We finished 10th this year. Not a great 10th, not a bad 10th. There was some awful football played in the Premiership this year. And quite often, we played it. If you watch the Cardiff match, you're going to be wondering how the heck we finished 10th. It was awful.
We've been so inconsistent, though, Scott. I mean, look at how we played against Liverpool. I'm talking about home against Liverpool. How we played at Tottenham away. How we beat Manchester United. Of course, that was when Mourinho was still there. But even so, they had a great squad. Well, they do. We beat Arsenal. I mean, the other thing about the Premier League, you know, you have to give the Premier League its due this season. All 4 European finalists are from the Premier League, and the 5th one won the league, right? So Manchester League, not even.
It's about time, though. You know what I mean? Like we've been the best, most competitive league for years. Just we haven't quite shown it in European competition. But here's the other thing: you're talking about international. You know, basically, you're talking about Mitrovic and how good he did at international level. And my whole argument against that would be, look at Carlos Sanchez. I mean, that's the only reason why we bought him. We didn't buy him for his pedigree in the championship. You know what I mean? With Aston Villa, we bought him because he did great with Colombia. Yeah. You know what I mean? Well, that doesn't mean shit. I mean, I'm not trying not to be a dick either. I'm just saying, it's just Carlos Sanchez frustrates me, and so does Mitrovic for like the same friggin' reasons. Like they don't justify, like, I don't know what they've done. Their track record doesn't really mesh with what we're trying to accomplish supposedly accomplish as a club, right? I mean,
totally cool.
We're trying to move forward.
I hear you. I think we do end up with Maxi Gomez. I don't know where his head is at either. I don't know him well enough.
Exactly.
I was very pro.
And he's again a relegated team.
Yeah.
Did they get relegated or did they stay up?
I think they stayed up because I think they beat, Real or Barca or somebody like that late in the season after the league title was already decided. I'd have to look. I don't really remember. But listen,
Oh yeah. Either way, so are we gonna go raid Brighton? You know what I mean?
I've on him on Maxi Gomez. His performance in the second half of the season was not great.
No,
Yeah, too many
not in
white
the second
cards.
half. Second half of the season, it was terrible. But I think also that
Yeah.
club really changed how it was playing football. It went, holy crap, we need to stay up. And they played
they-
a lot more defensive.
They have actually. It looks as though there's a match left to play in Spain, which I did not realize.
Last match, yeah.
They are. It looks as though they're going to stay up. They have a 3-point gap over Girona, but they have a goal differential that's quite a bit better. So, yeah, but
And
it's,
I mean,
it's going to be very close. Let's put it that way. It's going to be very close. Yeah.
And who knows if we get him? I know, listen, both Liverpool and Tottenham are talking about meeting his release clause. So who knows if we get him or not? And Liverpool, geez, what's Liverpool going to do with him?
Well, he's not going to play. He's not going to get a lot of. I mean, let's face it. He's a squad player at either one of those clubs, right?
Oh, well, no, he might. Okay, when Harry Kane's injured, he might be a good alternative for Kane.
I agree with that. When Harry
But
Kane's
Liverpool, like, why would a young striker who wants minutes and wants goals and wants glory go to Liverpool? And that's not me dissing Liverpool. That's me going, Origi, Salah, Mane.
Right.
Let's just keep going. They've got big names already. Those guys are going to absorb all the minutes. Some guy coming in this year is going to sit there and going, well, it's really nice to play on the practice squad.
But you know what? It's all about athletes. It's all about self-belief. I mean, I'm a big fan of college football here in the U.S. and I went to a little school called TCU, Texas Christian, and back in the 70s we had I was small back then. Back in the 70s we had the worst team in the United States, and Texas had the best team. And Texas would recruit all the players in the whole state, and TCU and SMU and little schools would go out and they would say, hey, if you come and play for TCU, you can actually play. Like, you'll get on the field and you'll play. If you go to Texas, you're going to be a 10th string backup. You know what they did? They went to Texas because they thought they could make the first team.
Absolutely.
It's hard to tell an athlete who spent his whole life being an athlete, you're not going to be good enough to play for Liverpool, so come play for West. He's going to be good to play for Liverpool, right?
Tim, somehow I think you're drinking healthier than I am, man. I'm seeing some green stuff in your cup, and I'm drinking red wine. I'm feeling bad right now. Tim's drinking the Earth smoothie, and I'm drinking red wine. I'm feeling bad.
You got that Strava Craft, man.
Yeah, man.
I gotta tell you, I gotta pick some of that up. I just gotta try it.
You should go down there, man. They're in Denver. I can go check them out. Give a tour. Tell them to us, and they'll give you a tour.
I'm never here, so I'll have to order it online. I'm home today.
Yeah, no, get it through us. Get it through us. That way they know it came through us.
Use famous 15 in the discount code.
Yes, sir. I understand, sir. I will order coffee, sir.
I wanted to ask you, Scott. You seem to know a lot of people at West Ham and a lot of people involved with West Ham. And you're in Denver and you're Canadian. You're not English, obviously. You go over a lot. I know. How have you gotten to know all these people?
Primarily through Twitter, and then I'm going to be careful because I got grief for what I said on American West Ham podcast last week. I have a really good friend named Peter who's been going to West Ham since, like, literally his mom handing him over the turnstiles to his brother so he could sit on his brother's lap. And his brother and some of the lads who were there, I've gotten to know them. If you go see Green Street, you might see those guys. Okay, none of them are as cute as Elijah Wood. Trust me, these are not beautiful men.
Not like us. Not everybody can be so fortunate.
Hey, Lee, you're beautiful, baby. I
appreciate that.
Sorry, Tim.
It's all good. I get it all the time. Everybody loves his long locks.
I got to know those guys, and they kind of know each other, and they kind of know their way into the club. And I've met Dave and X a few times. Killer story. I'm getting off the train in Cardiff, and I hear Dave behind me going, "Come on, you Arns!" It's like, "Dave, how you doing?" It's like, "It's our Canadian friend." And I've met X before. I've been to a couple of their events. I message back and forth with him now and then on Twitter. I kind of just got to know these guys, frankly, through social media, and also, I'm going to make an appeal to the community by not being a complete ass. I don't know if you've noticed, there seems to be a lot of really negative people on social media about West Ham, even our own fans, even our own supporters, just because it seems to be so popular to kind of crap on our own club. Listen, we have problems. We got stuff we got to deal with. Dude, Tim, you talked about the attitude problem with Arnie, and do we want to add that with Mitrovic and other players? Dude, I hear you. I understand it.
Yeah.
What I don't need is that inside the fandom and the support clubs here in the U.S. I've been in New York to New York City Hammers. Great people. I tried to be to Chicago once. I went to AJ Hudson's late. So Chicago Irons, my bad. I missed you. I've gotten to a lot of people here in the U.S. and they've connected me into the UK, and then knowing people here has helped there and has helped build the network. It's not that I'm in the know or I'm really well connected. It's just that I talk to people. And because I travel, I go see people face to face. And I try to be really honest about how I feel about the club. And I think people kind of appreciate that because I can be honest and say, hey, this isn't good enough without then crapping all over the club. And the other thing is, you heard me say that I disagree with Dave on the approach to the board. I love Dave Walker. That's a heck of a man. He's 11 inches taller than me, and when I'm a little tipsy, I should not hug Dave because I get a lot of Dave chest. But that man is big. His arms are as big around as my legs. It's when you're 5'8" and you hug Dave Walker, you're in for an adventure. And
that's good to know. I'm 5'8", so that's good to know.
No carpet required, if you understand what I mean. But they're great people, and I'm just honest, and I talk with them, and I try not to crap all over their heads, and they go, holy crap, you're not an ass. Let's talk. I've been tweeting all day about, some stats and stuff, and I'll be honest enough to tell you, get a lot of abuse. I get a lot of crap from people who don't like
what
Twitter,
I say. Though, man. You won't get that on Facebook or Instagram as much as you would on Twitter.
I get it a lot on Facebook too, and I write and I talk and stuff, and I'll get every now and then somebody gets my email address, and I will get a diatribe of how I'm not really a fan. I'm just a jerk. I'm just trying to get my name out there. Heck, this is the first time you guys have seen my face. So how hard am I working getting my face out there? For me, it's just about getting out there and getting to know people and supporting people. Like, guys, we've never met before. If you guys do something like you're up in the neck of the woods of Boston, right? I'd come up there if I think I got to be up there. Look, I'd come find you, have a beer with you, and talk West Ham. Not because I'm better than anybody else or I'm special than anybody else. If I'm in the neighborhood, I want to talk football with people who love my club. And I think the honesty and the integrity of talking with people nicely and graciously kind of changes the discussion. So then you have people go, oh, by the way, there's an event going on. I'm coming. Or, hey, we're thinking about planning an event here. What do you think? And then finding out things, not because I know better, just because people go, hey, I can trust this guy. He's not a jerk. And he's not going to shoot me down. If he doesn't agree with it, he'll tell me. But if he agrees with it, he'll get behind me. In all fairness, much like what John's doing, right?
When you have the Canadian friendliness gene, you're friendly, which is good, which is positive. I'm with you. I tend to be positive and friendly with people. I think there are people who are on social media just to stir up trouble, whether they're West Ham or not. That's never really been my, what I've wanted to do. And I mean, really, there's really not much I would rather do than sit around and talk about West Ham. That's why we do it on YouTube twice a week.
Dude, why are we not doing this again tomorrow night? Come on down. Let's talk transfers. Let's talk Joey O'Brien at right back. Come on.
Oh, I love him.
I love Joey O'Brien.
You're going to love this. There was a story today how we're trying to go back and get Mo Diame.
Yeah, I hope not.
Oh, good Lord, no. He left our club to take the next step up, and he went to Newcastle.
Oh, Newcastle.
Who went down and have not finished above us yet. So,
yeah,
go.
Yeah, no, it's
no. It was Hull. It was Hull.
Yeah, it was Hull.
He went to Hull now,
and they got relegated. Yeah,
I was
relegated. He left us, went to Hull, got relegated.
Hull have spent like 3 seasons of the top flight in their whole history.
Yeah,
they have basically their whole history has been in the lower divisions. He goes to Hull to move up. I mean, it made no sense at all. Yeah, no, we're not getting him back. Come on.
I want Tompkins back. I don't give a shit how much we have to pay for him. I want him back, man.
Why? Okay, you're the 8th person today to mention Tompkins by name. I love James. I think really highly of him. Where does he fit? I'm going to be upfront. I think we sell Ogbonna this year.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing: he scores goals as a center back too. It's not just that he's always in the right place at the right time during set pieces. He's got a great awareness for set pieces, which is nothing that we have right now.
Got an enormous head. He can block off half the net with his skull.
My boy James. Listen, I posted all these. I took the stats of the last 4 years of Winston Reed, Angelo Ogbonna, and James Tompkins, and put them all side by side and did a little screenshot of it. And it was ridiculous how many matches played versus how many yellow cards versus how many goals scored. Like, he just fucking blew them out of the water. So obviously Winston Reed, who the fuck is that anyway? He's gone. Who's ever heard of him?
Well,
he's
but
back
I think
in New Zealand.
We're stuck with Winston Reed forever because of his contract. I think we sell Angelo Ogbonna this summer. I think Ogbonna's gone.
Yeah, why not?
I do too.
Why not?
Because we have a great center
He's
back.
here nor there. You know what I mean? Like, if we kept him, wow, okay, great. But if we sold him, I wouldn't care. I mean, he's not one of those players that really
He
care.
came in and did a good job. He spelled off Diop when Diop needed a break, and when Balbuena was injured, he filled in well. But my gosh, Balbuena is 26 or 27 years old. Diop is 22.
Yeah.
Those guys could play together for 4 more years if we have somebody else we can bring in. So I honestly think we sell Ogbonna this year.
Yeah.
As part of our funding of our going forward. There's a young kid, X has mentioned him on his show. I can't remember his name offhand. He's playing somewhere obscurely in South America. Husilos and Pellegrini love him. I think there's another £4 or £5 million transfer that we're going to sit and go, £4 or £5 million for this guy. I've never heard of him. We're going to sit there and then they're going, that was £4 or £5 million really well spent. What a guy.
Those are the guys we need. I mean, guys like Balbuena are the guys, we have to find those diamonds in the rough.
What, £4 million or 5? Well, how much was he? 4?
I think he was 4. I don't remember, but I think he was 4.
For me, he's the guy who holds the freaking defense together. So when I've been there and watched them play with him in there, so you hear Mark Noble shouting from midfield because he kind of runs a team from midfield. But when the defense is on the go, rather than the keeper who I'm used to shouting and telling everybody what to do, and you do hear Fabianski talk to people, it's Balbuena. Balbuena's driving the defense. That's why they call him the general. He's the guy.
No, I agree. I think he and Issa, I love both of them. And I think, a full season of them together, giving us 30-plus games in the league, we're going to concede a lot fewer goals. Fabianski's going to be a lot less busy.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I have the stats up in front of me. We conceded 13 less goals this year. That right there is, to me, 10 points in the bag. Easy.
Oh, absolutely.
We scored 4 more.
You mean when they were together?
No. Overall for the whole season, we scored 52. We allowed 55.
Right.
It's a significant improvement from last year.
Yeah.
It's one of our better defensive performance the last few years. The year before we allowed 64. The miracle year, the last year at the Bull-In, we allowed 51. I kind of skipped that year because that was just magic.
It was the Payet season, and it was lightning in a bottle. That's first.
I'm honest enough to tell you that if I look over there, there is a long sleeve jersey over here from last year at the Bull-In. I'm not going to turn around and look at it, but there might be Dimitri Payet's name on the back of that.
You know what's really funny? The Payet season, I bought my friend Steven. We should have him on the show sometime, actually. I bought him a Payet shirt. He lived in France for a while. He's Bulgarian, but he lived in France for many years, and so I bought him a Payet shirt. I bought myself a Lanzini when Lanzini was kind of the second banana, that season. But I was like, you know what? He's kind of a young up-and-coming guy. I'll buy Steven a Payet. I'll get myself a Lanzini. I get the Lanzini. I got the better of the deal.
I've got, just so you know, if it helps any, the Thames Ironwork Lanzini shirt, and over there, the number 10 Lanzini shirt. I love that kid. I want him to stay. I want him to get better under Pellegrini. I want to see what happens in 2 years under Pellegrini with Lanzini. We'll know next year. This time next year, we'll know if Lanzini is as good as we think he could be. I think Pellegrini's the guy to bring out the character in him. Wilshere is amazing if he can keep his ankles together.
Well, he won't play more than 15 games, though. He never does. He just doesn't. I mean, I wish he would, but he just doesn't.
Dude, I'm going to tell you up front, I got a gut feeling. Next year is the year where all the time and pain we went through this year with that lad is going to come through, and it's going to be okay. I think next year he's the guy. I
And
think he
Yarmolenko.
really is the box-to-box midfielder that we've been looking for.
And Yarmolenko could solve a lot of problems for us out on the wing.
As
Yeah.
long as he doesn't have that square head. I was at Chelsea when he missed a wide open goal. Oh, man, everybody was mad.
Yeah. He could have won that game. You're right. That was the game we drew. That was the 0-0. He could have won that game.
And the next match, he went down and missed the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I felt badly for him. Non-contact injury, going down, just falling down.
A very West Ham injury. Would you show us some of the stuff you got in the back there? We were doing
Sure.
on live.
We're doing this beforehand. I'm a big fan of all the stuff that people in the U.S. do, so I'm going to give a shout out. The Columbus E13 lads, three-legged mare, great guys, reached out to me. As a matter of fact, I got a guy in France who has one of their scarves from years ago. I can barely speak French. He can barely speak English. All I know is he contacted some guy from Columbus. He's got an E13 scarf. He loves it.
There's
Great guy.
West Ham France, there's a whole West Ham France supporters group.
Especially in Marseille.
Yes, I'm on their Facebook page. Yeah, good guys.
Oh,
good guys.
We got to talk afterwards. I got to meet those guys.
Yep.
Thanks to Wayne, Dallas Hammers. Hey, my mate Jeremiah Carson, dude, North Carolina, North Colorado Irons never quite worked out, but dude, you're a great man. I love you to pieces. The McMexi shirt, you're a star. Fresno Irons, Kiwi Hammers. I met them online a couple times. Great guys. I said, hey, can you send me a shirt? They're like, who are you, you madman? Of course, Mile High Hammers. We just got new scarves out. My mates, Brawley, Tony, American West Ham Podcast, England Scarf, Iron Tours a couple of years ago when they got really mad at the board. See about the time of Burnley. We're selling scarves, supporters, not customers.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. This is my baby. It's the first shirt I ever bought from West Ham. It's a goalkeeper shirt. I'm a big fan of Adrian. Love the guy. I'm going to miss him.
Yep.
I'm going to miss the hair.
Yeah.
The hair was amazing.
The penalty against Everton is one of the great moments of my time when he took the gloves off.
Oh yeah, he threw down. He was ready to go to war.
An iconic moment. It's too bad we didn't go further in the competition because we could have. But that's another.
My only half and half scarf. I will not show you who's on the other side. I want to talk about this one. West Ham came to Raleigh, North Carolina. Beautiful man, Dean Windows couldn't go. His son was really sick.
You want to have Dean on the show? Dean's been my Facebook friend for like 3 years.
He's a spectacular. He's a spectacular guy.
I'm going to get him on the show. He's a really good dude. Really good.
He's a really solid dude. We did a project called Help Joel at that time. We didn't have a lot of money, but we threw in some bucks. One of the folks in that area printed the Help Joel stickers or shirts. Want to let you know Joel's doing really, really well. He's still with us. He's still going strong. Joel, you're a rock star.
And he has a congenital heart defect and cerebral palsy. He's got a lot of challenges. So it's not just like he was a sick kid. I mean, he's a vulnerable kid,
Absolutely. The original Mile High Hammer scarves, a whole shed load of pins that people have been sending me. Thank you. Orlando Hammers, gone in a season. The guy showed up on Twitter, sold T-shirts, disappeared.
Really?
Can't find him.
That's very Florida. He's Florida, man.
Good man. The one I kind of love, Scandinavian Hammers. I forgot that sizing is a little different between U.S. and Europe. That might fit around my arm.
Yeah. We were talking about this before we went live. I was telling Scott, when I lived in France, I bought all my clothes at the Gap because I had to shop at an American shop in order to find something to fit me. And I was I was probably 30 pounds lighter then than I am now. And it didn't matter. The Europeans are tiny, tiny little people.
I think the thing I'm most proud of, and this is for my mate Pete Keys, he went from Denver, Colorado to London, England for the final match at the Bowling Ground and bought me a scarf. And then my mate Chaz Schick, who I can never say enough nice things about. Chaz, buddy, I love you. The final program from the Bowling Ground. Dude, you're a rock star.
One too. Tim's got one too.
Tim's got a better one.
Well, Nick gave it to him. Nick from Crosshair. I'm the only one who doesn't have one, apparently. So
we'll get you one.
I need to make better friends, right? Because you didn't interview Nick, but I wasn't on that day, so yeah.
No. So I got a shuttle. The thing is, apparently I've got some New York City Hammer scarves coming too, and then some other folks have got me shirts, and then I have a signed Mark Noble shirt coming over from the UK right now. somebody wants me to auction this summer for Isla.
You're going to do some auction stuff for Isla, right? You were telling
I
me.
am.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. I'm doing that with John at the Vegas event. That's the West Ham way. It's their event. One of the things I said I'd do to help them out is I've got a couple of shirts here, the Declan Rice shirt, the Robert Snodgrass shirt, and then I've got a Mark Noble shirt on the way. We're going to auction those off and give the money directly to charity for Isla.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's really important to me that we continue to look after. Really happy to still have one of these. I used to have quite a few more. I keep on giving them away to other people. They look and go, "That's great. Let me donate." And I said, "Oh, you're going to donate some money here. Have my Isla bracelet." So I'm down to one.
That's cool.
All right. Well, we only have about 10 minutes left, so I want to just real quick. There's been a bunch of people in the chat room, and I got to mention that, like I always do every single episode.
Is Gina giving me grief? Is Gina on there giving me grief?
No, she was just saying a few nice things. She was in there. Jeremiah was in there as well in the beginning.
I'll tell you, her cupcakes looked fantastic. I know she's the wrong colors, but
they were pure sugar, man. Holy crap! Kids were running around in the bar. It's amazing.
She said she met Pete on Sunday, and her nephew stole his seat. I don't know if that rings a bell. We got Wally and Gabe as always, man. They're gonna be on our show. We're gonna so just so you know, Scott. Yeah, Wally and Gabe are pretty much every single episode we've done. If they can't make it live, which they've pretty much almost made it live, they're always in the chat room, which is awesome. So we invited both of them to come on for one particular episode in June 9th, I believe. We're gonna have them on together, which is kind of cool. As a thank you for being here every single episode. We also got John Black burping and farting as always, and
you go, John. John, you're going to scare people right out of the casino in Vegas.
And basically, John being John, stirring up shit, and they're talking about Tompkins is just right for Palace. That's his level, and all this other shit. And oh, Johnny boy. Yeah. Well, we're going to have, here's the thing. The reason why we're not going too much into that Las Vegas event on this show right now is because we're having him on June 6th.
Yeah.
To talk about it. So that's why we're like kind of not talking about it right now.
Yeah, we like he's a good dude.
Yeah, exactly. So James Quinlan from Knox Hammers. Thank you, James, for popping in here. Tom Atherton.
Is that Knoxville Hammers?
Yep, that's right.
Dude, you got to find me. I want one of your scarves. They are really good.
There you go, James.
Their t-shirts are cool too, man. You should check out their t-shirts are awesome. They do different colors like that too.
Who needs more t-shirts right now?
Oh, I would always use another t-shirt.
I do. I keep wearing the same 7 and 12, 19. I don't know whatever. Anyway, so Tom Atherton, a guy that we had on, not as a guest yet, as an interviewer. We want to interview Tom. He's from Hammers Chat. He's one of the guys over there. They have so many guys over there, but Tom is really cool. He helped me by doing a match preview episode with us one day when we had a cancellation. So anyway, he's in here. He says like 2:45 a.m. Actually, it's later than that now.
Yeah, what's he doing?
I don't know what he's doing, man, but he's up. He's watching our show, which is awesome, and he's chatting away, which is really cool. Yeah, basically, he was asking you, Scott, where's the Hammers Chat snood? The wall can't be complete without that.
I hear and obey. I hear and obey. I'm taking notes.
Wally wants a McMessy shirt. I told him where to get one. I know. Thanks, guys. Thank you, everybody. And James says Scott, he'll get in touch with you in the coming weeks and make the merch happen. So that's cool. Anyway, thanks, guys, for watching tonight. I really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. That's one thing that we try to do every single episode is mention everybody in the chat room.
Where do you get them? Actually, Tim, where do you get them at Messy?
From Jeremiah, right?
Jeremiah's the guy who set him up. There was Jeremiah noticed that Robert Snodgrass was the either second or third highest rated player in all of Europe one week and coined the term McMessy. And the next thing I know, I've got this picture in my Facebook instant messenger going, what do you think? I'm like, oh, those are great. So I managed to take 2 of them with me to London. And there's a kid there who's the son of one of the premier supporters of West Ham for the official fan side of things. So I want one of those. So I gave him the shirt off my back and gave him another one. Kids love it. And I mean, who cannot love McMessy? As a matter of fact, Snodgrass has seen that and tweeted back to me that there's something fundamentally wrong with me. Thank you, Robert. If you're watching, thank you. Yes, I'm a damaged person. Thank you.
Yeah, all the players can watch now that the season's over. They don't have to prepare for their matches anymore, so I'm sure they'll all tune in.
And how about the last 4 matches? I mean, let's face it. The last 4 matches, you're kind of like, we're safe. We're going to put their Hawaiian shirts on, put their flip-flops on, and not try. 3 wins, 1 draw. And that draw makes me angry because if we didn't get that draw, if we would have hung on and won that match, we finished 9th instead of Leicester.
Well, we shouldn't have allowed the equalizer at the end, but Perez did score a legitimate goal that didn't count. I mean, he did. I'm sorry, he did.
Absolutely.
Put that match away, and we got robbed. We got robbed.
Dude, VAR next year. I'm really curious, and I'm going to write an article about that later on this summer about VAR. It's only going to be valid if people are actually looking at it and not just the match official. I think they need to have a 4th official or a 5th official up in the booth watching it going, hey, you need to look at this. You should look at this part. Help the official out.
They need to do what the NHL does and have the Toronto office looking at every goal. Listen, the only thing about VAR that first of all, we saw when Spurs beat Manchester City in the Champions League, when Llorente scored with his hand, and VAR they never saw the right angle, so they never saw that it happened. Mm-hmm. The next day on Twitter, we all see him score with his hand, but the official never saw it. But the only issue I have with VAR, and we've talked about this with other guests, it's going to be like when you watch football and the NFL, or when you watch the NHL. There's always going to be the hesitation before you celebrate. Like, okay, is there a flag on the play? Mm-hmm. Or, did that goal come off a skate? Was there a kicking motion? I mean, sometimes but sometimes you don't. And one of the great joys in football is being able to celebrate a goal. And I just hate the thought that we're going to get to this situation where we're going to celebrate and go crazy, and then, oh wait, hang on, actually no, we got to look at this one again. Mm-hmm. It's gonna impact the drama of the game. But if it gives us 10 more points next season, I don't care.
Lee, I hear you. I understand that how I want that natural moment of exuberance from the player. The Premiership has suffered, I'll be clear, not just West Ham. But several clubs for many years have gotten very favorable calls that you can see afterwards, hey, that was the wrong call.
Yep.
I'm hoping that VAR levels the playing field a little bit for the whole Premiership. Will it happen? It's going to take time.
Yeah. And
I think there's going to be pushback from certain clubs who keep on getting rulings against them that they've gotten for years. Liverpool, how far offside was that guy?
Liverpool would have how many fewer points this season? I mean, let's be honest. I'm not saying they're not a great club, because clearly they are.
Oh,
but
they're a great club, but they've got a lot of help.
There would not have been a title race. Although Manchester City's penalty in their home match against us was pretty bogus too. But there wouldn't have been a title race because City would have been 5, 6, 7 points ahead. I mean, quite frankly, Liverpool scored a lot of bogus goals.
If you change the rulings in Liverpool and Man City against West Ham gets a draw against Man City and wins against Liverpool, and it doesn't change the entirety of this league. Right. But if you start looking at the holistic level, and I mean, there's people who are talking about that we would have gotten 10 more points. I'm not sold on that. Chicharito clearly scored a goal with his hand at one point in time this season.
I say between 5 and 8. I feel as though we had 8 taken from us. If you want to take all 3 points away, I think we'd have beaten Fulham anyway. Eventually, we did score 3 goals, but take those 3 points away, we still get 5 more points. It's significant. I mean,
if they won that Liverpool match, then the momentum shifts between that and the next match, and
absolutely.
Then they're not. They don't play like shit the next game. You know what I mean? Or
exactly right.
Who did we play after Liverpool?
I don't remember.
Was it Newcastle?
We beat Newcastle 2-0
by the hand. Yeah. And everything else. That was the hand game, and it wasn't the best performance either, though. But it was Everton after that.
Fulham was. Right? Fulham was. He just scored with his hand against Fulham.
Yes, you're right. It was Fulham. Fulham was the hand goal.
The Everton.
No, the Fulham was the hand goal.
Right. I cannot forgive them for the Everton game because that was the Premier League event in Boston, and it was just embarrassing.
Fucking embarrassing.
Yeah,
it really was. That
sucked the life out of me. It really did.
Yeah, I really.
So, I want to hit pause here. Lee, you and I have been talking for all. Tim, anything you want to throw in here, buddy?
I tend to do that. Sorry.
No, me both.
I just organize this and let it go. I let you guys do your thing.
I was just thinking we should
I'm just keeping an eye on the chat room and stuff, and Stat
just think
checking.
we should let Tim have a chance to talk about something. Tim, how was Mother's Day for you, buddy? Was it good?
No, it's okay, Scott. I appreciate it. I really do. It's very kind of you.
Hey,
But
I just want you to feel the love, Tim.
I feel the love. It's all good. I'm getting a lot of love on the chat room because I'm the one who like responds to all that stuff for the live chat. So
Tim does all the
okay.
channel. He really
And
does.
I can't thank you guys enough for letting me have the opportunity to be here. I really appreciate that. I appreciate you scraping the bottom of the barrel and bringing me in. Clearly you couldn't get another guest.
Listen,
do it on a Sunday. Like
this was a spur of the moment. I just kept seeing you popping up, and I'm like, you know what? We didn't do a show for Mother's Day. Let's do something Monday and see what happens. So, hey, Scott, you okay? You want to do a show? Scott says yes. Hey, Lee, can you do a show? We got a show with Scott on Monday. You want to do a show? That's literally what happened. Yeah.
Evenings are good. The daytime shows with the guys.
Oh, no. All right, so hold on. After the Liverpool match, we got fucking destroyed by Wolves.
Yes.
Destroyed by Wolves.
Yes.
And then we lost to Bournemouth
Yes.
next week after that, 2-0. So, yes, if you just imagine, if we had won that Liverpool match, maybe the momentum might have shifted. We might have played a little bit better.
Add 5 points right there, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, look at that! Hi, Leicester, we finished ahead of you. That's 8. We're in 9th. Wow, man, and that's Tim. That's what's killing me right now with the entirety of VAR. Will VAR change a game? Sure, but I think it has a chance to change seasons.
Oh, I do too.
If it's done well.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I agree.
Go back to the Payet season and look at how many calls went against us that season. People forget we had. We had more calls go against us than any other club, and that's science. I'm not making that up. There was somebody who actually tracked all that. The number of calls we've had go against us in the last few seasons, the points that it's cost us, it's a very legitimate thing, a statistically legitimate thing.
I don't disagree with you. As a matter of fact, I don't want to clue me off. Actually, I was watching highlights from the season. I noticed Noble scored 3 penalty goals, and I thought, how many penalties were we awarded this year? We were awarded 5 penalties, along with Everton, Arsenal, Southampton, Chelsea. Yeah, that's it. We went 5 for 5. I want you to guess who was awarded the most penalties this year.
Oh, it's got to be Liverpool, right? Or is it Manchester United?
United. They received 12 penalties. They scored 9 of them.
Manchester United have always got penalties. Always.
But I would guess Liverpool because those fucking guys. It's like they're playing on the bubbly surface.
You're not wrong. Second place is not Liverpool. I got 2 words for you. Wilfred Zaha. 11 penalties, 10 scored. Liverpool.
Thought Salah. I would have thought him had led the league.
7.
You know what I mean?
7 penalties received this year, and they scored on every one of them.
Yeah,
that man disgusts me, man.
Then you've got Huddersfield and Watford with 1 each. Yeah. That's the most penalties I think we've had in years. So that's cool. It was interesting.
Yeah. Well,
Manchester United have always gotten the penalties. Always.
Yep.
Always. They still get calls. They got one against us when we scored the goal that should have counted. That's another match we should have at least drawn. Probably should have won. But again, screwed up.
I'll make it worse for you. I was at Man United years ago. Stuart Downing. It was a close call, and we got called offside, and we lost 2-1. And he should have. Yeah, I looked on replay. He was even. About a week later, there was a Man United guy clearly offside. Yes. Play on.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah. Wasn't it Nolan who scored that goal? I seem to remember being Nolan. Anyway, I remember there was if he was offside, it was like literally by a nose.
Well, it's hard for me to remember. All I remember is I had to drag Pete off the tram in Manchester because he offered to fight not only every person on the tram, but the tram itself.
Nice, dude. Nice. Awesome. Well, on that note, listen, Scott, thank you so much for coming on, my man, on short notice. I know this was it was a lot of fun. We'll definitely have you back. I mean, I enjoyed this. Yeah, Lee enjoyed this. I hope everybody in the chat room enjoyed it for sure. They were going back and forth with everything we said tonight, so that was really cool.
Cool beans.
Good and bad. So I really do. It was awesome listening to you last week on the American Must Ham podcast. So anybody who's watching this, if you haven't heard the American Must Ham podcast episode, with Mr. Scott Davis, I would give it a check because it was pretty cool. And they actually gave us a cool shout out. They really said a few nice things about us, and I appreciate that.
Hey,
so
I was doing part of that, dude. I love what you're doing for the community. The fact that you're keeping all the American Hammers fans engaged, and frankly, you're getting a shed load of interest from the UK now as well.
Yeah.
Dude, you're doing a great job. You guys are doing a great job of unifying the community right now, getting people interested, getting people talking, getting people together, doing a great job of introducing people that may not have met each other.
Mhm.
Hey, hats off to you guys. You're doing a great job. Keep doing it.
Well,
And come on, your irons.
Thank you for coming over, Scott. I appreciate it.
All right, so I got to mention our shows coming up. So we have Jesus Christ, tomorrow morning we have not tomorrow morning. I keep saying that. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. we have Batman from Crossed Hammers, which should be awesome. It's going to be very explicit. The guy barely says any regular words. He mostly says swears. So. Yeah, that should be awesome. So 2 p.m. Check us out.
So you're saying I'm the G-rated guy, and he
makes us all G-rated. He makes me. Yeah, he makes us all G-rated.
Okay.
He makes John Black G-rated. Yeah.
Despite John's gas issues.
Yeah. No. But listen, it's gonna be awesome. If you have not checked out the Crossed Hammers videos on YouTube, please check them out. For whatever reason, they get a lot of traction on Facebook, and their videos get a lot of play virally, but their YouTube channel only has like 83 subscribers, which is nuts to me, because they're very popular. I mean, it's really cool. So basically, this guy, smokes cigarettes in his car. He's just got the camera on the dashboard, and he's just, fucking disgrace, and this, that sucks, and fucking yodeling cunt back to Austria, and this, that, and everything else. Fuck the board, and I'm telling you, it's awesome. I love it. I laugh my ass off all the time. I show friends who don't even know West Ham or like West Ham, and I show them these videos, and they're laughing their asses off. It's funny. So anyway, it should be a great episode tomorrow. On Thursday, we have a massive episode. I don't even know how we're going to pull it off, but we're going to have me, Lee, plus 8 guests that we've had on in the past to do a season review episode, part 1, because we're going to do another one in the next week or two. If it works, we're going to do another one with 8 different guests that we've had on, American guests anyway.
Hey, I'm willing to drop in if you need somebody to fill in.
We will definitely have you. Yeah, definitely. So let's just cross our fingers that this one actually works, because we're going to have a lot of people. We're going to have to figure out how to work it logistically. But basically, Hangouts allows up to 10 people. So me, Lee, plus 8. I know for a fact that Justin from Chicago is going to join us, along with the 2 guys that we've had on from Alamo City, Dave and Paul. We're going to have Wayne as usual, and we're going to have who else? David from Boston, Cam from Tampa, and Jake from New York City, and somebody else I'm forgetting. But anyway, we're going to have them on for the first one. If it works, we're going to have a bunch of other people like Gina and Charlie from Denver, and maybe Scott and Jeremiah and the guy James from Knoxville Hammers, who's on the chat room tonight, etc. So we're going to keep on doing that, so everybody gets their voice of their opinion on the season review. Okay. So anyway, Friday. Lee, I'm going to need you on this one, so I'm putting you in the spot here.
Okay.
Friday at 2 p.m., we have somebody who actually went to pretty much almost every single West Ham women's match this season.
Oh, really?
And he's going to give us a season review. I may or may not be able to make it to that one, but we have that one confirmed for 2 p.m. So she wants to give, a detailed season review for the West Ham woman, which is awesome. We've been trying to talk about them all year. We've been trying to get the girls on the show.
Yeah, we have.
Media coordinators and this, that, and everything else. They just wouldn't let it happen this season. So anyway, we're going to do a season review of that on Friday. And then Sunday, we have Arizona Hammers, a new group. We're down there. And then we have next Thursday, I'm really excited for Story Time with Gary Parrish.
Yes.
Oh, madness.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
Who's doing Batman with you tomorrow, Tim? Because I know I can't do it. Who's doing? Is it you, or is it somebody else going to be with you? Is Wayne going to be with you?
I don't know. It's going to. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Just and then at some point, are we going to have a return of Georgie at some point?
We're going to have a return of Georgie. We're also going to have Georgie's father on.
Trying
to coordinate. We're going to try to coordinate the date for that, because he's a long time.
Yeah,
so
he's a long time. Yeah.
That should be good. But anyway, that's a wrap for this episode. Scott and Lee, just hang on for a minute after the air, and then we'll talk a little bit. But anyway, come on, you orange. See you tomorrow.
Come on.